So Funky Dineva has decided to spin the block one more time and talk about the infamous video where he went off on Chloe and Haley Bailey. And one thing that he did in the process was prove me right with everything that I said in the videos that you see scrolling here. So go check those out on my YouTube channel. But other than that, let's get into what he had to say. This is the abridged version of what he said without all of the fluff, pauses, rambling, and repeating himself. You're welcome.
Now, y'all gonna be mad about me about this one, and I started not to bring this up because y'all hoes tried to motherfucking cancel me about this shit, but I don't give a motherfucking damn. All y'all bitches owe me a motherfucking apology because I told y'all hoes that little girl was pregnant. And then Chloe got on the thing. Now, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Chloe because girl, Beyonce internet had done almost fucked up my credit. In retrospect, I am woman enough to recognize and agree that I was dead ass wrong for going in on Chloe's physical appearance. I was wrong. I was wrong. Whether y'all choose to believe me or not, it really did not come from an evil place. It's just sometimes you get in the comedic zone. You start going in on people and, you go in too hard. And I went in too hard because I was frustrated with the fact that you lying to us, and I don't like when people play on my intelligence. You try to talk to us like we dumb and like we're doing something wrong, and we clearly see that she's pregnant. That was the part that I did not like, and it upset me. So because it upset me, I went in too hard, and I apologize for that. But I got a question for y'all. Now that I'm on my own shit and I can talk freely as I want to talk, why is it that when I went in on Chloe like that, I got the response that I got and to protect black women and all this type of stuff, but y'all will sit down and let me say whatever I want to say about Sexy Red, Sukiana, or anybody that y'all don't like or who we deem as less than or ratchet? I have said far worse things, far more outrageous things about Sukiana, Sexy Red, Hazel E, and y'all laugh. And so with that being said, sometimes to the male persuasion, it makes this whole protect black women thing, it makes it feel performative at times because y'all pick and choose who we protect. And okay, somebody said because Chloe is non-problematic. I get it. And psychologically, I get we protect people that we love. And I guess, I get it. They're saying colorism. Well, for me, it wasn't colorism because I went in on a light-skinned person. Oh, I guess you're saying because I went in on the dark-skinned girls, they don't care. I don't know. I just think, we look at people as a society like Sexy Red and Sukiana, and we just consider them non-desirables. So we really don't care what happens to them.
So now that you heard the actual content creator that I made these comments about say the exact same thing that I've said before in more than one video, let's see if some of the people who were strong and wrong and insulting in these previous videos can go ahead and drop that apology, keeping the same energy. You cannot expect for people to respect you or whatever when you are inconsistent on where your lines and boundaries are. Remember when I was talking about not having a code? Well, let's do a quick flashback. I want to start by saying a couple of things. The first thing is that a lot of people's claims that all Funky Dineva does is bash black women and he hates black women. It's just simply not true. I've watched his content for over a decade and I can tell you that he will literally drag anyone. His personality is to be the wild card and to say things that are outlandish, that will either really offend you or really amuse you, but either way, it engages you. And that is essentially not only why he was hired by Fox Soul, but more specifically, why he was not fired. It's because that's what they hired him to do. He's literally doing his job. And about that, we need to figure out what is the line of demarcation. When are people allowed to have an opinion about black people or black women, even when it's unfavorable, and for them to be able to express that and it not be considered bashing? You know what I'm saying? It's a panel show, just like The Real and The View and The Chew and all of the others. So why are these people not allowed to just simply give their commentary and do their job? Everybody has an opinion, but they actually get paid to voice theirs. So that's another bit of food for thought. But let's talk about how unserious you all were with the critiques of what he said about Chloe Bailey, starting with the things that he said about her career. You all were all of a sudden making excuses like, well, she's very young. She's 22 or 23, however young she is, and she's still finding herself and discovering herself. He's 40 and still confused about his identity. You know, these little LGBTQ dog whistle insults that you all tend to do every time you get mad. The unseriousness comes into play when we consider the fact that you all, Black women specifically, dragged Chloe for the exact same things. You can go on any social media platform and find videos and comments about her being cringy when she's trying to be hyper-sexualized and how uncomfortable it is to watch and how it's not believable. So this is something that you all have dragged her for. You've also dragged her for her choices in her music, particularly when she decided to do a collab with Chris Brown. Do you all not remember that? You all have made fun of Chloe Bailey for everything. And now all of a sudden, because somebody who's not a Black woman said some of the same things that you all said, you're offended and you feel like she needs to be defended. Do you see the inconsistencies there and how hard it is to find the line? And lastly, let's talk about the fake outrage about him saying very simple things about her appearance. The first thing is that her face looks fat. And the second thing is she's not cute without makeup. What I've done is I have captured a still image from the exact live stream that he is referencing. Let me ask you a question. Does her face look fat? And because she's not wearing makeup here, her hair's not done, there's no filter on at this still image, is she cute without makeup? At this point, a lot of people would ask, where's the lie? And here's what I want to ask you all. Why was this so below the belt and offensive? I have a hypothesis that if Chloe perhaps looked like this skin tone instead of her own, I think that not only would you all have not been offended by his critique of her looks, I think that you would have laughed. And let me show you what I'm basing that on. One of the things that always amazes me is how even though we know that colorism is global, Black people hate to admit that they, like everyone else in the world, is ingrained with anti-Blackness, right? You're programmed for this, right? And so one thing that you'll notice is anything that is stereotypically and phenotypically Black, you all hate these features, from hair texture to facial features to skin tone, so forth and so on. And let me give you an example and prove it to you. You all started a petition. Now, this is Black women mostly. Started a petition to make the parents comb Blue Ivy's hair. This is a toddler with natural hair texture, hair that grows out of her scalp the same way that yours does. And you all were so offended by this, that this child that you know is loved and protected and richer than probably everybody listening to this video combined. And yet you all put up a big stink about her hair as if you were equating it with her being abused in some way. I'll give you another example. You had someone like Gabby Douglas, a Black girl who is an Olympian, the closest thing that we have to a real live superhero on earth. And while she's winning the gold for her country, you all are dragging her because her edges weren't laid. She is achieving greatness and you all are stuck on her hair. See, when you played the Dozens as a kid, the jokes were literally about Black phenotypes and Black skin tones, right? When have you ever heard the joke, yo mama so light skin? Yeah, see, that's not a thing. Mama so dark, mama so Black, mama hair so nappy, mama's hair so short, so forth and so on. This is what you all do. You literally make Blackness the punchline and the butt of the joke. And I think that that has a lot to do with why you all were so comfortable with him dragging Paula. So let's move on to the next clip and break that down. So the basis, and let me go ahead and get this out of the way. You all are going to say it was perfectly fine for him to drag Paula and get her together because she had said things about another woman and questioned her victimhood. One of the things that you all do for Black men constantly is make excuses for their behavior, especially anytime they are rude or mean or they abuse you. It's always something in the larger society or something in their childhood that you use as an excuse for their bad behavior. So why is it that Paula was not granted that same grace as someone who she was talking about the fact that she had been victimized as a child? So no one thought to do any psychobabble about her and say, you know, well, hurt people, or perhaps this topic triggered her and this is a trauma response and all of the other things that we use as buzzwords nowadays. No, she said something about Cassie, so let's just drag her. What if I told you one of the biggest reasons why you were doing this is because Cassie is of a lighter hue? She's not Black, which means she automatically deserves to be believed and protected. Paula, on the other hand, now the comments that you all made about her was the same thing that Dineva was saying. Let's drag her looks. Look at how her teeth looks. Look at how unsuccessful her career is. Funny how the talking points that he said about Paula was some of the exact same things that he said about Chloe, and there was no request for cancellation. And after all of that fake outrage, his numbers still have not gone down drastically and his viewership is still up, thereby proving that most of you would rather watch a Black man in a wig cosplaying as a Black woman while playing up every negative stereotype about you rather than support an actual Black woman making good content. Have a good day. So feel free to go watch that one in its entirety and then watch this one in its entirety as well, because I pointed out some key things like, first and foremost, why are we talking about what he said about Chloe when we should be more concerned about her sister? And then also, she never confirmed or denied. So she didn't lie in our faces. She just refused to answer or talk about it. You know, I was just pointing out little things like that. But also, in the meantime, I was holding everybody accountable across the board, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. So let's get into these clips. And after this, I'll land my plane. Question, who raised y'all? Who raised y'all? Were you all not taught to not hypothesize about whether or not a woman is with child just in case she's not? Just in case she's just gained a little weight and now you have made it incredibly awkward? You shouldn't do that. It's just impolite. Besides the fact it's none of your business. And about that, public figures can have private lives, if for no other reason than for medical reasons. I've always been taught that within that first trimester, you're so-called not out of the woods, so you need to wait to announce it. That's a medical thing, because now you've gotten everybody all excited about a baby and they're getting ready to celebrate with you. The child doesn't come and now you have to grieve publicly and it's just awkward. It makes the process even harder when you could have done it privately. And not only about putting a child's life at risk with all of that extra stress that you're adding onto that woman. Honey, the North still remembers Ray Caruth. Don't ever get it twisted. Just because you might want a baby, it doesn't mean that that man does. And let's just say, perhaps she knew that she was with child, but he didn't. And he determined that he did not want that child. Now y'all gonna all be talking about gone too soon if that man snaps out and decides that he wants to do whatever it takes for him to not have to be bothered or tied down.
You can't, as a talent, bold-faced lie. I'm saying I don't want to support a talent. I don't want to spend my hard-earned money supporting a talent who lies to me. Or who
have you ever lied to the public about anything?
What is wrong with Claudia? Why was that necessary? Girl, you is treacherous. I can't even. Oh, somebody help him.
Oh, somebody. Oh, he needs some milk.
Oh, yes, baby. See, I already did a video on this calling out the double standards, and I couldn't help but notice how it didn't get a lot of feedback in the comments from the girlies. But the truth is still the truth, and the truth is you all feel as though these down low men that's out here getting people sick deserve to be protected at all costs, but somehow a woman and her secrets and her life and her health deserves no type of privacy. Now let me give you this little flashback.
Distancing. So he has been away from her and she's been at home quarantining alone. She posted him on to her Instagram, right? Someone contacted her and let her know that they know this guy. He has a whole family. He is actually married with children.
Right.
So she found this news out, honey, and just like a queen would, she outed him, honey, and went straight to Twitter, and this is what she wrote. The internet is amazing. I've been talking to the mother of his son and fiance all morning. Hashtag plot twist. Brett, what do you think? Do you think that she handled this correctly?
That's not cool to do that, to expose
No.
him that way. It's different because he's dealing with a trans woman.
But hold on.
I don't feel for the fact that he was cheating on anybody. Cheating is not cool, period. But that exposing somebody's sexuality without them knowing, that ain't cool.
Now, I love Brad dearly and severely, honey, but this is toxic. And I have to just go ahead and call a thing a thing. This is a double whammy, double standard, because the double standard is both within the community and on the outside of the community. You're literally telling a trans woman that she can't speak her truth on being mistreated and lied to by a man because he's not yet comfortable with his sexuality, as if that's anybody else's problem except for his own. But see, that's not necessarily true, but because I'm about to show you the ways that it will be made Black women's problem, which is exactly why we need to take the time to put our own mask on first. Instead of trying to be out here saving everybody else and excusing everyone else's bad behavior. I'm sorry, but I gotta call it fair. My motto is balance equals righteousness, and anything that lacks balance will inevitably lead to chaos. There are way too many channels out here that are either just anti-Black woman or anti-Black man, and all of the infighting, giving all of the negative stereotypes and aspects of each other without making it fair and balanced. And I just don't like that. And these guys that just recently got demonetized is a prime example of that. Look at how, when you make Black women the butt of the joke, how you still get to continue to win. So all people are doing is now going over to their Patreon to support them financially, and they've gained another 100,000 followers in the past 2 days on this same platform. You do know that you have the option to hit follow and subscribe and help amplify my voice for free if you don't want to help and support monetarily, because that is what helps me to get noticed by, the different brand deals and things of that nature, so that I can help myself. But as a person who does not harm anyone, I don't like these harmful channels and harmful ideologies, because let me give you some very real examples of how that ends up getting Black women hurt. Prime example, Mrs. Lofton here found out that her husband, let's just say preferred other husbands, through one of these websites or Facebook groups like Girl, Is This Your Man? And Whose Husband Is This? And well, in order to keep her from divorcing him or divulging his secret, he silenced her permanently. And so now, if you are so inclined, you can go and donate to the GoFundMe for her children who are now motherless.
Falling your ways, so you